Good day, our lovely subscribers. Thank you for joining us today for another beautiful story on this channel. And let us know where you're watching from on the comment section. And please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Today's story is titled The Ants That Ate Me. Yes, you heard right. The Ants That Ate Me. The story begins. Osas Eweka was the only child of Chief Eige and Mrs. Itoan Eige, a miracle they never stopped thanking God for. Her dad was the manager of Royals Bank at Eweka Road. Her mom was the principal of Igeduma Grammar School. Her parents adored her, but her mom was the disciplinarian in the house. Her father brought pastries home in white paper bags and slipped them to her when her mother was not watching. "Don't tell your mother I got you too," he would whisper, eyes twinkling. "I heard that," Principal Itoan would say from the doorway, arms folded but lips fighting a smile. "Eige, you're spoiling this girl." So Osas grew in a house where love and discipline lived. On Saturdays, they visited the family's palm plantation. Chief Eige would hand his daughter a small basket to pick the palm nuts on the ground. "Play your part," he would say, "so you remember that there is dignity in labor." And her mom would add, "Greet the workers properly, learn their names, respect is reciprocal." Osas learned to laugh with the laborers, to lift small baskets, to thank the cooks. Despite being humble, one could tell that she was well taken care of. Her caramel skin glowed and her nails were manicured. She carried herself with grace. She spoke impeccable English and switched to French or Spanish when necessary. Her multilingual skills were helpful when she and her parents vacationed in Ivory Coast. A woman tried cheating her mother because she perceived that they were foreigners, and Osas quickly intervened. "Madam," she said gently, "le prix est trop élevé." The woman blinked, then laughed and bargained honestly. Osas had an obsession with computers. It was no surprise when she decided to study computer engineering. Her parents gave her their full support. They registered her with a phone company as an intern, where she learned to fix phones and computers. She gained admission into the University of Lagos. She became popular on campus because she fixed laptops for her classmates and professors. She was also an A student. After second semester exams in her third year, her friends dragged her to a club to celebrate. She decided to give it a try. "What is life without some fun?" she said to herself. As Osas and her friends stepped into the VIP section of the club, the lights and soft music welcomed them. Across the room, Osas and her friends saw the fast-rising music star, Femi Bankole, also known as Rhymez. He was laughing with his entourage when his eyes met with Osas. The moment lingered. It was as if the world stood still. A few minutes later, his personal assistant approached. "My boss would like to invite you to his table," he said politely. Osas smiled faintly. "Then your boss should come ask himself." To the shock of her friends, Rhymez rose, walked over, and greeted each of them warmly. When he shook hands with Osas, his grip lingered. "Please," he said in a low melodic voice, "join us for a drink." Osas glanced at her friends. They nodded too eagerly. She laughed and said, "All right, but I would have the mocktail." "That makes the two of us," he said, surprised at himself. Their love drifted in like a new song in his album. She watched his shows from the wings unnoticed. He spoke of a mystery woman in interviews with a smile that only she understood. They had a rule: protect the quiet things. "Promise me one thing," he said one night after a show, sweat cooling on his neck. "If my word gets too loud and I ever get out of line, you will take me back to my roots." "I promise," she teasingly said. They became each other's peace. They texted every day and called every evening. He learned that she sorted her books by color. She also learned that he whistles when nervous. After 1 year of being together, Osas missed her period. She didn't think of it as anything serious because she and Rhymez always used protection during sex. Her heart skipped when the pregnancy test came out positive. Osas sat on her bed, phone in her hand, and her heart drumming. She had been careful. Her mother's lecture on abstinence and protection echoed in her mind, yet here she was. Rhymez came to Benin for a governor's daughter's wedding. In the car, he reached for Osas' fingers. "What is wrong, baby?" "We will talk when we get to the hotel," she said, trying not to discuss private matters in front of the driver. "Did I do something wrong?" he probed. "No, baby, we will talk later," she said, half-heartedly. When they finally reached the hotel, Rhymez turned around and made her sit on his lap. "Talk to me, baby." "I am pregnant," she blurted out. He blinked. "Pregnant? But I know," she said softly. "I don't know how, but we are here." He leaned back. His jaw tightened. "Osas, my career is finally taking shape. I am not ready to be a father. A child we are." And Osas interjected. "All I hear is you," she cut in, heartbroken. "Do you think this was my plan? Where is the love that you promised?" He swallowed. "I love you, baby. I really do. I am just not ready to be a father. Maybe you should get rid of the baby. Are you sure that you didn't sleep with someone else?" She stood looking him in the eyes. "Are you accusing me of cheating on you?" she asked. "It doesn't make sense. We used protection all the time we made love." Rhymez tried to make sense out of it. "You really need to get rid of the baby," he said further. "Femi Bankole, you want me to get rid of our child?" she asked, more like a statement. "Baby, that is the only logical thing to do. You're still in school and my career is just taking off." She didn't alter any words. She took her bag and left. Rhymez tried calling her, but she didn't respond. A week after their meeting, Osas thought it through. She tried to return his call to tell him that she was keeping the pregnancy, but his manager convinced him not to pick up her calls. His manager convinced him that Osas would be a distraction. According to him, children would destroy his career. He would have divided attention. She figured that he didn't want to take responsibility for his child. She blocked his number 3 days after. She decided to go back home. Even if her parents would be disappointed, they wouldn't give up on her. Truly, when she got home, Her parents, especially her mother, were sad. However, they hugged her when she cried and told her that they would support her every step of the way. We will support you and you will pursue every inch of your dreams with or without a child, Ituan said, pulling her into a fierce embrace. After the holidays, Osas traveled back to Lagos. Her classmates mocked her because of her big belly. She ignored them and focused on her education. She returned to Benin after completing her final year exams. 1 month later, not one, but twins arrived, a boy and a girl. The girl's name was Odion and the boy's name Owoha. Osas completed a mandatory National Youth Service Corps with her babies and a laptop. Her father used this connection to deploy her to Benin, where her mother watched the children whenever she could. Her father also rocked the twins on the weekend. Osas graduated with honors, then took a job as an IT specialist in Benin. When the twins turned 5, she moved to Lagos and co-founded an e-hailing startup with friends. She hired a nanny to help take care of her children, while she gave her all to her startup. She combined product meetings, investors' call, and school runs. During one Christmas holiday at her father's house in Benin, her children met with Osas' cousin who were married with their family. That evening when they left, her children snuggled on the couch with her watching TV with Grandpa and Grandma. When will Daddy come? Owohan asked, copying his mother's face. He's gone, Osas said, voice unsteady. But look around. Grandma, Grandpa, me, we're a beautiful family. They nodded. After the children were tucked into bed, her parents discussed with her the need to settle down. You deserve companionship, my daughter, Ituan said. You're not getting younger. When she returned to Lagos after the holidays, she decided to give Emeka a chance. Emeka was the charming architect who helped with the construction of their company's headquarters. When her parents came to visit them in Lagos in July, she introduced Emeka to them. Emeka charmed her parents and they fell in love with him instantly. Emeka promised gentleness. He proposed to her and she accepted after getting approval from her children. 2 months to her wedding, she incidentally found out that Emeka had another family in Enugu. Somehow, his wife found out about the wedding plans and called Osas to warn her to stay away from her husband. Osas gracefully called off the wedding and gave him back his ring. She stayed off men and focused on her children and her business. Odion and Owohan grew bigger and smarter every day. Odion loved computers just like her mother, but while Owohan had a thing for cameras that caught people's raw emotions in a beautiful way. Far away, fame turned on Rhymez. He married a model. Tabloids devoured their smiles. Then a scandal split the headlines. The 2 sons he had raised weren't his. Paternity tests, legal filings, interviews soaked with shame. He left the marriage thinner than he entered. He was broken. At the age of 45, Rhymez longed for a family of his own. He was lonely. He moved to Boston to stay out of the glam and fame. He told a friend over drinks, I once loved a woman who brought me peace, but I chose my career over her and my child. I told her to get rid of the child. Maybe I am being punished for my sins, he lamented. Years later, Odion and Owohan gained admission into MIT. Osas felt the pride of 1,000 lifetimes swelling in her chest. To celebrate, she decided to travel with them to the city before their term started. One last chance to savor their company before they stepped fully into adulthood. It was a bright crisp afternoon when they stopped at a small West African cafe tucked into a quiet Boston street. The smell of fresh puff-puff filled the air as they found a table by the window. They ordered breakfast and laughed over light banter about dorm room decorations and class schedules. Across the room, a man in a white cap looked up from his tea. His eyes froze on the sights before him. A woman he knew instantly, even after all these years. Her laughter had the same cadence, her posture the same quiet elegance. But what stopped his breath entirely were the two young adults seated with her. The boy was a younger version of himself, the same jawline, the same easy but deliberate way of sitting. The girl, oh God, she had his eyes. A jolt of adrenaline shot through his veins, setting his heart into an unsteady rhythm. He swallowed, palms damp. He didn't know what propelled him forward. Maybe instinct, maybe courage, maybe the last flicker of a chance he thought he had lost forever. Osas, he said, voice tentative as he stepped closer. She turned slowly, her eyes locking on his face. The voice was unmistakable, the only man who had ever truly stolen her heart. Femi, she said flatly, her frown carrying the weight of a decade's worth of hurt. She remembered not just the heartbreak, but the way it had shattered her. What are you doing here? She asked, her voice guarded. I live here, he replied. His gaze drifted to the twins, taking in every detail, every echo of himself. Are these your children? He asked softly, almost in disbelief, as he reached out to shake their hands. Yes, she said simply. The twins exchanged glances, sensing a current of tension in the air. Can I join you for breakfast? Rhymez asked, his voice careful, almost pleading. Owohan tilted his head, studying him. You look familiar. Osas quickly cut in. He's a popular musician. You might have seen him on TV. She hesitated, unsure whether to accept his request. Yes, she said finally, her face unreadable. You can join us. At the table, conversation was polite, almost brittle at first. Rhymez spoke about his life now, how he had moved into real estate, only making music occasionally. When he learned Osas was the CEO of Nigerian's most popular e-hailing taxi service, he smiled in genuine admiration. I always knew you had the fire in you, he said, his eyes lingering on her a second too long. Thank you, she replied, her tone awkward, her words still firmly in place. She noticed the fine lines that time had etched around his eyes, but the sharpness of his features remained. When he asked the twins their age, Audience smiled. We are 20, and yes, we are twins. Rhymez's gaze snapped to Osas. She met his eyes, holding his stare without flinching. Osas, he said quietly, can we talk outside? As they stepped out, the twins leaned towards each other. I know that man, Owohan whispered. Mom has old pictures of him in her archives. I found them once. Do you think he's our father? Odion asked. Maybe, Owohan shrugged. But only Mom knows for sure. and she's always said he is gone. Outside, Rhymez faced Osas directly. Are they mine? They are mine, she said evenly. They look like me, he insisted. Let's just say I have a type, she replied, her voice cool. Please, he said, hands open in surrender. Tell me the truth. Her eyes moved to the cafe window where the twins sat watching them. After a long pause, she spoke. Yes, Femi, they are yours. He exhaled like a man coming up for air after years underwater. I am sorry, he said, his voice cracking. I should have been there for you, for them. You made your choice, she said firmly. I know, but please, I want to know them. I want to make up for the time I lost. She studied him, the weight of the past heavy between them. I think it is time they knew you too. They returned inside. Audio and Femi Bankole, she said. Meet your father, Femi Bankole. The twins stared, stunned. I failed you before I even met you, Rhymez began, his voice trembling. I was young, selfish, and afraid. I chose myself. I am sorry. Why now? Odion asked. Because I saw you, he said, and I recognized my face. He didn't ask for hugs, he asked for a chance. If you want in, Osas told him, you will have to come through the door of consistency. No empty promises, and a DNA test so the world doesn't doubt what we already know. A week later, in a nearby clinic, they swapped cheeks and signed papers. When the results came, the technician slid the envelope across the desk. Femi's hands shook as he opened it. They are mine, he whispered, smiling through tears. You are mine. He hugged them awkwardly at first, then with the fierce grip of a man holding something he thought he had lost forever. He started small, weekly lunches at the student center, care packages during midterms with sticky notes labeled from Dad. Sunday calls he never missed. He made mistakes, offering too much, asking too many questions, arriving late once, but each time he apologized, learning to be a father in real time. One evening, Ohan texted him, group chat. What should we call it? He asked. Our family, Odin replied. In Nigeria, Osas accepted a request to be added to the family WhatsApp group. She smiled at their banter on the group, quietly grateful that her children now had their father's presence. Months turned into seasons. Chief and Mrs. Eye called often, their voices bright with pride. Though miles apart, they felt closer than ever to their grandchildren. When Osas visited Boston, the four of them had dinner in a fancy restaurant. One mother, one father who had finally shown up, and two children who were no longer children. After dinner, Femi offered to drive her to her hotel. The ride was quiet until at a red light he spoke. Do you think there is a chance for us? He asked. She shook her head gently. Our words are different now, Femi. I am not the young woman you once knew. He nodded slowly. I understand. Thank you for the life you did give me. Okay, pause. Thank you, our subscribers and everyone watching our video, for the life that you did give to us and you do give to us every time. Do you think Osas should have accepted Rhymez request of coming back together as a family? If you agree and disagree, let us know in the comment section. So I'm going back to the story. Thank you. That week on campus, Audience app won a prestigious campus award. In the back row of the auditorium, Femi and Osas sat side by side, their hands clasped tight as the crowd chanted their son's name, Audience, Audience, Audience. The same week, all hands photographed an image of Osas laughing with her parents in the golden light of the family plantation was chosen for a city exhibit. The caption read, "The hands that held me." Femi stood beside her at the gallery, looking at the photo in silence. Finally, he said softly, "You have always been their anchor." And now Osas replied, glancing at him, "You're learning to be one too." Some love stories don't end with romance. They end with family. And sometimes that is the most beautiful ending of all. Thank you for watching with us to the end. If you enjoyed the story, do not forget to let us know in the comment section. And don't forget to like and share until I come your way again next week. Bye. Where the tales will flow, whispers of the night.